President John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, Minuka say, we gave you an update yesterday. Say, fuel prices in Ghana have decreased. Star Oil, any information, just say they have actually decreased fuel prices. Aside from that, to go also any information, just say or may decrease fuel prices. Now, one of the things you also have to notice is that this January alone, you charge us 2 weeks per, but fuel price are dropping 2 times. As our fuel price are dropping 2 times, it's so significant. Say you have to bear 3 cities a fee so. And no, and I mean, okay, saying pennyphobia, I started say or more casa say, they saw this. And then Omoma can say BBC ABC. A quick one before I watch this particular video. What should the whole screen so? See, a Star Oil, you are selling a year petrol, which is super for 97 pesos. And Caneno, it was somewhere around 12-13. Omo tisu general masa tisu biom. Into omo diken you want the fiso, one saying additional one the fiso. And a Star Oil CEO oko posti on Facebook say Ghana buy mahukanya. Ombit mati petrol so amanaba 5 cities e will chrome her. But we'll talk about that later. But me know is here and pennyphobia I started air casa because long time NDC loyalists or the same be about betuja in a video form say or no sabiu only sika to say how can Japan any a year despite most can be. But then on no acquire NDC loyalists no acquire a year His Excellency former President Jerry John Rawlings of also at the bar anyhow he thought about socialism. How say baby be a boy in a socialist because this is basically a socialist party. How or believe it very soon petrol na yate so about 9 cities a bimu bomb no. According to him, very soon so petrol no ebeba 8 Ghana cedis. Now there's a video involved. You can share this particular video. Babaka, we have an update about the NDC leadership race because Opemunankasa Musa Danka or the same Biaba Tuja Moana mo bomb pie na mo believe it say a sitting kitten befa presidential race no. All these are not it is on how they do so and a boss, okay? But then issue about and say, Obiaba be pim, young guy Biaba be pim if I'm to forcing. After forcing, a Kamiako say, send our handle economy, no, you're showing year 2028 on no bear flag. But we'll come back to that issue later. But before then, no, you can share this particular papay or the same way to when you come back, we will dive into the other matters.
What is it, petrol?
Oh, man, no pay a match, say at petrol. Some I come, say petrol, beba 5 CD. Na John.
Why?
Na John. Omo boy juma papa pay schedule ni akwaji o. Ya de samija mfina aji schedule no. Nti scan no ha yanko bob sian baby a. Nti na manfo ye samija mfi na aji schedule ni de ni ye juma sa. Na Ghana e koso no. No na samija mfi kwa boni din kwa no ye kese no. Mahama ne na no mani ate.
Okay.
Nti no muti abedwafo do munhwe gold no. Samija mfi na da no. Nti na nkrofo ye nuanu mu do mofui. Wo mu boye tirisui. Na John nyamisha wo mu. Na mepede me hu wo mu. Menyim wo mu bia. Sa. Picture na mehu. Picture so de amfa nka asem.
Ena utimi bo mu hu dawru.
Sa me agro no ya me denti NDC dem different 92.
Oh, okay.
Me de papa. Anam papa genti.
Okay.
No ba Cape Coast anamani aje papa. Nti Cape Coast de ani achi anu mu nyina na ekọ meeting. E wo dance fee. Obi sa na me no bi no from NDC konfo.
Oh, okay.
Na si ada me lungu baby. Ti amanfo hu ma che.
Adwuma de omaye.
Oh, omaye. Na John omaye adwuma.
Okay.
Na John na ni ate John so ni ate. Ndino ka che na ado de waja no wallet wo ho. O man kwa no me fa na 2020 wo de wo na nwumu no. Na Litre commission we kwa mpede oyi ni fi ho. Ma me no anya papa. John me ka che no wo che.
Why?
Litre commission onyi ni fi ho. Onyi ni fi ho no wo che. Ya paniche wa. Anya de ma NDC ne o ya sa agu ye nyima ase.
Ene na nsa na wo se o pa chewa ma chema untubi.
Ha chama untimi. Onu kra de miyem kwa nchansa wem gate no wadura no. Supreme Court wo mo che. Kwan afa so ne papa ka se na ye. Ena untimi mo makuma ase. Won kwa ye hwan. Wo ye otumfo. Otumfo kra ba ye de wo ye. Wo de o plan tum ye nya kwan ye bu ye man.
That's all.
On come back 20 years kwa wo de 20 years ye de acha no. Oh 20 de John farmer no ne na.
Okay, so that was in Semamba Pay Edit Tuja. Now, I told you, said there are more updates at air costs right here in Ghana. Now, 2028, Mahama is not running again. There are some calls being practicing standing constitution. No team call for a third thing. But clearly, Mahama is not buying that. He wants to retire and go no being better ejumano so. But then no kasa nipa why post consistently or Timmy predict say a year MDC for be winning power don or sanso share percentage wise and nyina echo mu pepepe no say nipa or sanso din sema ba betu nipa meka na sem Musa Dankwa. According to Musa Dankwa, now the NDC race taking a certain dynamics. Initially na Haruna Edu na lead. The second person who was also behind Haruna Edu is sitting Kitia, followed by the others, others also eka Julius Debra any ade. But our party said na same mono ya DJ na ka hono race na adane, and also me young guy be a friend to forcing or yenye mani maybe wo krom ha sanya mana to forcing ama Ghana for enya ni mugidie inti anhwani ya 2028 per no research no someone may actually be taking the lead. Inti nsema onankasa editu.
Hello, good afternoon. Today is the 12th of January 2026. We throw in a bit more light on the NDC race. I shared a post this morning on my Facebook wall that has generated a bit of comment, and I felt maybe I should do a video to explain it. I made a post that says that it is likely the NDC will elect an Akan to lead them. However, if you look at who would you prefer to lead NDC, Haruna Edu is number one, but 26%. Atufosin on 23%. Haruna Edu, Mosquito on 22%. Jinana on 11%. Julius Debra, I think, on 7% thereabout. Elkopoku. Now, basically what we are saying is that looking at the data, if you add the votes that the Akan candidates are getting, it outnumbers all the other candidates put together. Asiri 22, Atu 23. What is that? 55. Jenana 11, 66. Debra 7, 68. And you're not going to have all the Akan candidates in the race. Some will drop out. When some drop out, the Akan vote will begin to consolidate along one or two candidates. So this is data. This is not something that I've conjured from the skies. Now, let's look at the data we just published about who the people prefer to lead NDC, and looking at from the looking at that data from the ethnic perspective. Among the Akans, 26% of Akans are backing Asedin Kitia. 9% are backing Julius Debra. 29% are backing Atufosin. So Atufosin has majority of Akan vote. And then Haruna gets 17% of Akan vote. Ablakwa gets 4%. Eric Kupuku 1%. Joshua Alabi 2%. And Jenana 11%. So among the Akans at the moment, Atufosin has the lead. So when the others drop, it's more likely Atufosin will maintain that lead. The data speaks. It's not me. When you come to the Ghana base, there's a Ghana candidate in there. But if you check the vote, 24% of the Ghana base are voting for or prefer Asedin Kitia. 24%. 5% prefer Debra. 23% prefer Atufosin. So if you add Debra, Atufosin, and Asedin Kitia, what do you get? Over 50% of Ghana's, in fact, 67% of Ghana's support Akan candidate. So if some of them drop out, the Ghana vote for Akans will consolidate to one Akan candidate or two of them. The Ghana candidate, which is Joshua Alabi, gets 4% of the Ghana vote. 4% of Ghana vote. But Haruna gets 20% of Ghana vote. So majority of the Ghana vote goes to Akan. Let's come to the Ever block. Asedin Kitia gets 20%. Debra 9%. Atufosin again 23%. Atufosin is leading in the Ever group And then if you add the Ewe group, close to 70% are backing who? Their candidates. Haruna gets 16% of the voter block, and Ablakwa gets 15% of the voter or the Ewe block. So you can see that even the Ewes are coalescing around the Akan candidates. Let's come to Molly Dagbani. That's where I think the beef is. In the Molly Dagbani group, Asedun Kitia gets 15%. Julius gets what? 5%. That is 20%. Atufosin gets 12%. That's 32%. And Jenana gets 9%. So that's about 41%. Plus Ergobuku about 2%. So 43%. So among the Molly Dagbanis, 43% of Molly Dagbanis are choosing Akan candidates, while 51% of them support their own Haruna Idrisu. So it means that even among the Molly Dagbani, there is a growing realization that it may not be the time for Molly Dagbani again. And therefore, over 43% of them are voting for Akan candidates. So what you see from the data, not from me, is that all the major ethnic groups in the NDC that make up the NDC bloc intend to support Akan candidate. That is the data. It is not Musa Dankwa saying. So when you see that headline, it is backed by data. We don't know whether that candidate will be Jendana Puku, or that person will be Erigo Puku, or that person will be Atufosin, or that person will be Julius Debra, or that person will be Asedun Ketia. But the data shows that they are all moving towards Akan candidate. Thank you very much.
But I want to ask a question. Does this mean, say, Kenny Japan argument will make it say northern region and a northerner cannot win an election? Is it valid? Because if NDC put or more parties say they don't elect a northern candidate and then they are all supporting an Akan and a Christian candidate, does it mean say a party like MPP are predominantly Akans party or more elected and northerner as a flag bearer, which is Baumian? Does it mean say it will hit them and I say idea? I just say it will cost them the 2028 and future elections. Does that make in Japan an argument valid or not? We'll come back to that issue, but then you can drop in your comments. And I say in Sema Woka. Now, Nipa Yebabe can say me Ghana Henano, you say or the GOAT of gospel music. You can say the GOAT a Govt. It stands for the greatest of all time. Now, Mafino, and now Muni Nipa Yebe can say